Okay, so I want to talk to you a little bit more about this idea of goal setting, because if you don't have a process by which you set and achieve goals, and that's a foreign concept to you, I really want to encourage you to get something in place that allows you to establish this process of looking into the future and seeing what it is that you want to accomplish, and then being able to set the framework in place between where you are now and what it is that you're trying to achieve. And so I have a 5-point process that I've used for a long time to help me accomplish certain things in my own life. And this is something that you can use not only to help you lose weight or to transform your physical body. It's something that you can use for just about anything. I know, greater than 20 years ago, at one point in time, I made the decision that I was going to go to medical school. And I remember telling my parents that this next year, I'm going to get into medical school. And something changed as I verbalized that to my parents. And I knew in that moment that I was going to somehow facilitate it. I didn't really know on a conscious level exactly how that was actually going to play out, but the next thing I knew, I was in medical school, not because it was magic, but because I began doing the things that I knew I had to do to set that in motion, one of which was simply applying to medical school. But my 5-point goal-setting process can be utilized in this process of changing the physical body. And it begins with number 1, which is just conception. Any goal or anything that you want to achieve begins with a simple thought. It starts with a thought, okay? And anything that you look at in the physical environment that we live in, or in our world for that matter, any great accomplishment or physical structure that is of note, the Empire State Building, the Titanic, putting a man on the moon, all of those were things that someone decided at some point in our history that they were going to build or achieve. And all of those things came to pass because someone decided that it was going to happen, and then they set the steps in motion to make it occur. So number 1 is simply getting clear about what it is that you want, but it begins with a start. Number 2, once you decide what it is that you want to achieve, you need to record it. The action of writing something down or putting it in your smartphone as a goal consolidates this idea in your brain, and it somehow begins the momentum process. So say you just want to lose 30 pounds. You would write that down in some form or fashion, whether you did it with pen and paper or you put it in digital form or put it into your smartphone. You would record it. The next step would be to develop a plan to make this happen. So you would look into the future and begin to think, how am I going to lose 30 pounds? Well, one of the things that might be helpful is if you begin an exercise program. So you might commit to walking for the next 90 days, every day for 30 minutes. And then the next step, if your habit or the pattern that you have in place currently is that you come home from work or come home from school and you plop down on the couch or into the recliner and you get a glass of wine, which turns into 2 glasses of wine, and that tends to be how you relax, you're going to have to do something about that. So maybe you would say, I'm going to stop drinking wine for the next 90 days. The next thing, you might say, I'm going to go see my doctor to get a checkup. And certainly if you haven't seen your doctor for a while and you're about to begin an exercise program, and certainly I would encourage that in the process of what we're doing here, which is beginning to live the fitness response, I would encourage you to go see your doctor and tell them what you're doing. Tell them what you're trying to accomplish, and just make sure that you're healthy enough to begin a process like this, because that's very important. But I can guarantee you this: if you need to lose weight and you need to get healthier by dropping some weight and beginning an exercise program, I can guarantee you that your doctor, so long as you're going about it in a conscientious and safe manner, your doctor is going to be on board with that. The next step might be going out and just purchasing some running shoes or some equipment that you don't have. It might be buying some walking or jogging or running clothes, something that you feel comfortable exercising in. The last step in developing that plan might be a commitment to eliminating the junk food from your diet and cleaning up your environment, going through your refrigerator and your cupboards and just getting rid of the chips, the candies, the cookies, the soft drinks, that type of thing. The next step, number 4, is to commit to these things and to really internalize that you're going to make this happen. One of the ways that you can do that and also get some leverage on yourself is to tell somebody what you're doing. Tell a family member, tell somebody that you trust, and tell someone that you feel like will be supported in this process, and someone who may be able to help hold you accountable in this process. So commit, tell someone what you're trying to accomplish, because I can guarantee you, after a day or two, you get into this and you come home from work and maybe you don't feel like exercising, and the habit is so ingrained, you're so used to just sitting down on the couch and getting a glass of wine and kicking back, turning on the TV. That's when you really need someone who you can call and say, just help me with this. I'm struggling with getting out there. I know that I told you I wanted to lose 30 pounds and that I was going to do all this stuff to make it happen, but I really just want to sit here and have a glass of wine and relax. And hopefully, if you have a true friend or a family member who is really concerned about you, they'll say, no, go get your shoes on. You told me that you were going to do this, and get out there and go walk. It's just 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes of your day, so just go do it. So telling someone can give you a lot of leverage that maybe you don't have already, that leverage that you can't give yourself. Sometimes we need external leverage to help make things happen. The last thing is, number 5, you have to start. You have to pick a date where you're going to go out for the first time and you're going to walk. You have to have the first day when you don't have that glass of wine after work. And you have to have these things in place. Have your running shoes, the clothes that you're going to wear. You have to have your environment clean from the standpoint of all the junk food. But you need to have a date in mind, and whether you write that down on a piece of paper, a calendar, a journal, you have to pick a date and start, because nothing changes without action. But I can tell you this, with action, everything changes. And I'll tell you this book, The Fitness Response, is simply the process that I went through of trying to document what I know facilitates physical change. But this is the result of goal setting. That's all it is. This DVD program that you're watching is simply the result of goal setting. And so I know that you can do this. Utilize this process to help you get started, because that's the most important thing, is getting to number 5 here and deciding what it is that you want and going through this process and simply starting. If you'll do that, you can accomplish anything.